What's up guys, Perry from Rockville here, and today I'm going to show you how to set up a DMX controller with your Rockpar TRI ParCam lights. To do that, I'm going to need some DMX cables. I'm going to take the male end and plug it into the DMX out on my controller. Then I'm going to take the female end and plug it into the DMX in on my first light. So now to connect my first light to the next light of my chain, I'm going to take another DMX cable. I'm going to take the male end and plug it into the DMX out of the first light. Then I'll take the other end and plug it into the DMX in on the second light. And we're going to repeat this process for however many lights we want set up in our chain. Next, we're going to go to our lights and go to the D mode to set our lights to the same DMX address. For today, we're going to be using D001. Another option we have is using the IP mode to set up different groups of lights. Doing this is basically a shortcut to group your lights together with a DMX controller instead of assigning each light to a DMX address. And each group will correspond to every 7 faders available on your controller. So for example, IP1 sets up one group of lights using faders 1 through 7. IP2 sets up a second group of lights using faders 8 through 14. So for example, let's say these two lights here are set to their own group. I'm going to set one of them to IP01 and I'm going to set the second one to IP02. I'm also going to want to activate scanner 1 here on the DMX controller. So now if I start to interact with faders 1 through 7, you'll see now that I have control over the first group of lights. And if I do the same thing for faders 8 through 14, I can then control the second group of lights. You can use the DMX guide to see which group of faders interacts with which IP group. So now I'm going to set the lights back to the same DMX address to show you all the different things we can do using a DMX controller. Again, we're going to want to activate scanner 1. And now we can go through all the different faders and what they do with our lights. Now we can use fader 1 to set the lights into different modes. And where we set fader 1 to determines the mode we set the lights in. So for example, values 10 through 50 set the lights to the color select mode. To know what value you're on, you can always use the LED screen on the controller. And we can use fader 2 to determine which color the light is set to. Values 51 to 100 activate the color change mode, where we can use fader 3 to control the speed of the color change. Values 101 to 150 activate the gradual change, where again we can use fader 3 to control the speed of the color change. Values 151 to 200 activate the sound mode. And values 201 to 255 activate the strobe mode, where we can use fader 2 to set which color the lights strobe to, and fader 3 to control the speed of the strobe. So to recap so far, fader 1 controls what mode we set the lights to, while fader 2 sets the color that the modes interact with, and fader 3 controls the speed. Then we have fader 4 that acts as a master dimmer for faders 5, 6, and 7. So I'm going to raise that all the way up for maximum brightness. So if I raise fader 5, that's going to bring out the red LEDs, fader 6 will bring out the green LEDs, and fader 7 will bring out the blue LEDs. And again, we can play with the intensities of these LEDs for a fully customized color. So hopefully this showed you guys how easy it is to set up a DMX controller with your Rockpar TRI ParCam lights. But of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to reach out to our customer support team through phone or email. As always, I'm Perry from Rockville, and we'll see you guys next time.